Hello everyone, and welcome to another beer review. Now today I've been kicking about Aldi, and I bought a couple of beers, so I did to review, mostly for the Wednesday ones, because I don't really do the kind of any decent beers mostly on the Wednesday. I usually try and keep them to the kind of more obscure or cheaper end of the market, or what I class as potentially the more dodgier ones. So that's where we're at. So today we've got a crisp craft lager from Scotland, and it's 4%, and it's Cold Town crisp craft lager, and it's brewed and canned in Scotland, and I think there's a bit of spiel on here. So it says, each of our beers is handcrafted in small batches. If drinkers love them, they go on draft across the country. If these sell well, the beer goes into cans. Like the one you're now holding, enjoy your crisp craft lager. It's been shaped by beer lovers like you. Well, if I was a beer lover, I wouldn't be really going on about a lager, but never mind. Now, why Cold Town? Our name derives from Edinburgh Calton Hill, that's a good one, which was originally called Calton, meaning Cold Town. Since the 16th century, Edinburgh has been a brewer's city. Opinions vary why, but the quality of our natural water and ease of access to first-class local barley makes the city an ideal place for brewing beer. Cold Town beer, there you go. And it's a slower, colder fermentation that gives our craft lager its delicately refreshing, crispy body. And yeah, that's it. So I don't really know much about this beer. I'll obviously put any details that I find in the beer facts below, and I'll put all the pricing and things like that. But it's from Aldi. It's a textured label, which means it's just a normal black can just with a label stuck on it, which is a lot of the smaller brewers are doing that, which is fine, and it gives it a bit more texture. But yeah, if it reduces their costs and everything else, then hopefully that money that they save will kind of transpose over into kind of better quality ingredients for the beer, hopefully, and not just into the hip pockets of the directors. But we'll see. Right, let's get it poured and see what we've got. I think it's a 440ml can just by holding it, because it seems to be very popular that, you know, any of these kind of craft places, they can't go full hog, you know, they can't turn and say, well, you know, we should go 500, oh no, these people couldn't cope with a 500ml can, no, I mean, they've been going off their heads with it, you know, they think Christmas has come again, you know. So yeah, 440ml can, 4%, I don't understand that. Well, as you can see, it looks a slightly kind of manufactured head, it doesn't look kind of natural. But nothing of it kind of looks natural. It looks like, you know, pouring in your other kind of crappy lagers, to be totally honest. Especially with how the head is, it just kind of looks a bit kind of, you know. But yeah, it's a one finger head, very clear. Not really much carbonation as I can see going up the glass. What does it smell of? Grain. I always find with lagers that most of the time they just kind of lack any kind of aromas. And most of the time they lack flavours as well, so. And body, and God knows what else, you know. Yeah, I'm just getting kind of grain and a slight kind of syrup kind of smell, so a slight syrupy smell and a slightly kind of wheaty kind of grainy smell, that's all. And there you go, that's as good as it gets, no other kind of smells coming through. So let's see what it tastes like. It's a wee bit gassier than what I thought. Flavour wise, very light. Oh God, yeah. Light. Yeah. Again, it's one of these ones that are made for people that aren't really into kind of beer and probably aren't even into lager, because yeah, they're talking about it's very delicately refreshing, crispy body. I wouldn't say it's particularly crisp, but just a very kind of uneventful ending, very clean back end. Mostly flavours as you're getting is just kind of grain flavours, a bit of sweetness, and that's it. It's just light in body, light in flavour, which again is if that's what people want, then great, you know. If you want something a bit more complex and everything else, well, my best advice is probably don't go near a lager unless it's a lager from abroad, maybe like a Czech lager or something like that. Maybe some German lagers. But the majority of lagers in the UK, yeah, they're kind of a non-event. And what makes them a non-event? Because they're uninteresting, no real flavour, no real body, and yeah, just bland and uninteresting. Yeah. I mean, this one it's okay. I mean, the flavours seem to be quite nice what's there. Quite pleasant, it's not overly sweet. Again, because it's a lager, you expect to get a little bit more carbonation, and again, with a can, you expect to get a little bit less carbonation. You usually get less carbonation in a can compared to a bottle because of how the seal system works in a can. Because it's got that quick kind of release system, obviously they're quite easy to be affected from pressure building up on the inside, unlike a bottle that I've got sitting off camera there that's got basically a more secure cap on it. So usually I expect to get if it was a lager from a bottle, I expect to have more carbonation from a lager in a bottle than I would from a can, but there's a bit more than what I would find pleasant. I don't like flat beer, I'll be honest. I'm not a big one for flat beer. I do like some carbonation. And that was one of the things when I used to, well, still do homebrew, but when I was originally doing the homebrew, one of the major things was I wanted to get the carbonation right. You know, if there's not enough, then I think that kind of affects the quality of the beer and everything else in the drinking experience. But the other way as well, if it's too much carbonation, again, it affects the drinking experience. So I was always very kind of keen to get that right as part of my conditioning process and everything else. And I just find it very strange sometimes is when you get supposedly professional outfits and their carbonation system, even though depending on whether it's a can or a bottle, how sometimes they just don't get the level of carbonation right. And I just feel that there's no excuse for that. I mean, if home brewers are basically working on that and can get it sorted, then you expect basically more professional brewers to be able to do the same quite easily. I mean, it's a kind of part of the raison d'etre, you know, as being a professional brewer, you know. They really should be making these kind of schoolboy errors, you know, but that's what always gets me. Right, shall we break down these flavours? Oh, right. Front and mouth, you get a little bit of kind of syrupy sweetness there, and grey. That's really what you're getting. A little bit of syrupy kind of sensation and feeling, a bit of sweetness and a bit of grey. And I think the syrupiness is supposed to be the kind of malt to it, but it's like that. It just feels a kind of a slightly syrupy feel to it. Don't know how natural that is, really. I mean, you can get slightly syrupy kind of sensations with malt and that type of stuff, but You've got to use very, very light crisp malts anyway. But yeah, when it moves on to the mid-tongue though, that kind of syrupiness kind of goes away, and it's really, you're kind of left with a 2-horse race in the mid-tongue, which is just really, well, maybe there's a slight tones of potential bitterness there, maybe a light kind of tones, very, very light. But the two main flavours in the mid-tongue is the grain and this little kind of sweetness there. That's it. I mean, because it's very light in flavours, and maybe some slight little, very light tones of bitterness near the back end of the mid-tongue, which doesn't really develop into anything as it moves over into the kind of back of the mouth and aftertaste. All you're really getting is a very, very clean finish. But what flavours are there, main flavours and light tones, just dissipate very, very quickly as it moves to the back of the mouth, and that's it, it's gone. Nothing really lingers. So yeah, what then would be called crisp finish, I would put down as just a clean, non-event finish. Everything just dissipates all at the same time, just gone. That's it. Nothing lingers, nothing interesting, nothing changes. Just that's it. That's your lot. Lights off. Thank you and good night. And that's what it feels like. So, what would I give this out of 10? There's a question. I'm trying to remember what it cost. I don't think it cost that much actually. That was a couple of quid, max. But yeah, what would you say about it? It's okay. It's a very light flavoured lager. It's unoffensive because there isn't really anything there to kind of cause offence, really. There's no any kind of real harshness to it. No, or anything like that. I mean, there's not really much to say about it, to be totally honest, apart from it's not offensive. Flavours are what are there are fine. Nothing wonderful, nothing groundbreaking. It is supposed to be a light lager, and it is a light lager. It's easy drinking, probably. I can imagine this on tap being easy drinking and people wiring in, in Scotland, drinking it by the gallon. And, well, obviously the place has got a funny feeling that this isn't going to be beating Tennent's lager on price. So I think it being sold in certain bars or tap rooms or whatever for the kind of more affluent drinker to frequent, that type of thing. But yeah, it's just an unoffensive, nondescript, kind of uneventful lager. And for that, what would I give it? Oh, well, again, first of all, it's a lager, and it's just, there's no interest there. There's nothing there to kind of spark any kind of real interest or any real enjoyment with it. It's just, I mean, it's not far off being a glass of water, let's be totally honest, apart from the alcohol content of 4%, I mean, that's all it's really got over. I mean, I don't think the flavours are any really much more than a good bottle of water. Really. So what would you give it? I mean, would it be a 5 being an average? No. I'd say it's got to be below that because it's a non-event, really. It's taking money and giving you. It really is. It's 4% alcohol packaged in a way where it's easy drinking. That type of thing. That's how you look at it. It's just basically, this is a vehicle for it to deliver 4% of alcohol, ABV, and a 440ml shot. That's it. That's probably the best way to describe it. So if you want 4% alcohol and you want it basically easy drinking and no resistance, then yeah, this is right up your street. So what would I give it? I mean, the mainstream piss waters like Tennent's is around about kind of 2, Foster's is around about kind of 2. Some of the better ones are kind of 3, maybe getting on to 4. So where would I put this? It's alright, it's nothing brilliant. If I compare it to the likes of, what have they got? I'm just trying to think of something that's, I mean, Madry's I would say is probably about a 3. That's just a load of piss for me. There's another manufactured one, Cruise Campus. I mean, that's about a 3. So, is it as bad as them? Oh, I would probably say no, not really. I'll give it a 3.5. I would probably say. If you're into lager, it's fine and things like that. It's unoffensive, it's easy drinking. But if you want any kind of real flavour or body to your lagers, no. If you want a kind of more body and a decent kind of mouthfeel, then no, it's just not there. It's just, it's meh. It's probably the best way of putting it. So yeah, 3.5 out of 10. 4%, 440ml can. If you like lager and you're in Aldi, give it a go. Or any other supermarkets. I think they probably will sell this in other supermarkets as well, but yeah. But yeah. That's it. Nothing else I can really say about it. You know, it's not delivering really anything more than, like that. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye for now.